The pitch is looped towards shortstop. Petroselli's back. He's got it. The Red Sox win. And it's pandemonium on the field.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston radio personality Lou Blasi.
Hey, welcome, guys. Derek, the GOAT Grady, Joe Tomasulo from Goldin Auctions in the house again. Last week they were with us. They're with us this week. We asked them to do some yeoman's work, back-to-back shows, that last week and this week. You know something? You guys have the same shirts on, though, that you had on last week. You guys look, yes, do you sleep in your clothes?
Depends. He's gonna go change.
See, you see what happens when you say
comes back topless.
When you say stupid stuff,
right?
See,
all right. You happy?
There we go. He put a black hat on. He put the black Goldin. I like it. All right, listen. Today we got a great show. We're talking Goldin. We're talking heritage. We're talking this wonderful, wonderful hobby. Lou's in the house. Rico's not here this week. I don't know where the hell Rico is. Last week he came on though. He got on in time, just about. Lou.
Yes, he did.
Right?
Not on time, but he got.
Wasn't on time.
He got on. Yeah. Oh man, what a piece of work! By the way, last week Rico and I did an event in Massachusetts. He did a great job. We had such a lot of fun. Just talking about. He does some great impersonations. He does a great Louis Tiant. He does a great Louis Tiant impersonation. And then he does a great George Scott impersonation.
Oh, God.
But then he does an impersonation of both of them on the pitcher's mound.
Oh, man.
Talking to each other. It's freaking hysterical. It really is. Again, welcome to the Great American Collectible Shows. Right out of the gate, guys. You know, I've been thinking about tickets. Tickets are real hot right now. And the question to you, Derek, first, and then you, Joe. You guys, I've noticed in your auctions, there's a lot of tickets happening. So now that tickets are obsolete, you don't get paper tickets anymore. They're gone. Everything is your phone at all the ballparks. A ticket's going to become the next hot commodity. Derek, you first.
I think like anything, I have found them to be cool because of that extra line. Like anything when it's graded, we've learned anything graded, whether it's magazines. Look at magazines. Okay,
yeah.
What they're selling for. As soon as something's and this is why I'm an idiot, because I know when something can be slabbed, it instantly blows up. Okay, so whether it was signed rookie cards or signed cards, whether it's tickets, whether it's magazines, I mean, you could go to shows and just get magazines cheap, for decades, right? And or on eBay or wherever, and now they're through the roof because of pop reports. Tickets, same type thing. You're seeing these historic moments where I think it's cool to have a Miracle on Ice ticket, to have, these rookie ticket date, where it will say I lost it, but there's a ticket stub of, it was like, I forget that one of the greatest drafts for the Steelers, and it was like 4 Hall of Famers rookie debut ticket, and it listed out the players. And there's tickets like that are so cool. And you see, what, if it's a Griffey rookie debut ticket, or I got a Babe Ruth ticket would go for a fortune. We see what the Jordan debut tickets sell for, ticket stubs. I just think it's really cool. I do think it's undervalued, because how many people threw out their stubs? How many people to find a full ticket is just amazing when you find a vintage full ticket. But I do think it's sad. I think, I grew up I guess my main decade would have been the 80s. And I probably still have some concert tickets stubs that I just refuse to throw out in a junk drawer that are somewhere in my basement in a box, because I just refuse, because we save those things.
Yeah, you look at ticks. You look at ticks. I mean, from Woodstock, or from
Yeah.
a Led Zeppelin concert, or from
Oh,
a
I would
Grateful
buy some of
Dead
those. Yeah, I
concert.
think it's cool.
Man, those
Yeah.
things are worth
But people
serious
didn't
money.
care as much until they were slabbed. That's the insanity. Is once an authenticator slabs it and puts it on the title, now all of a sudden everybody's and Joe, you know how many people want things reholdered, even though they know what it is.
Yeah.
It has to stay on that line, that third line, and it makes a difference.
Joe, it has to be associated. Obviously, the ticket has to be associated with a momentous occasion. I don't know, Mickey Mantle's 500th home run or whatever, right? It has to be
Aaron Boone's home run to win
exactly. So are you guys? I know that's like you're on the vintage side. Wise ass. You're on the vintage side of Goldin's, but do you get many vintage tickets on your end? I know Ken on the modern end they get all kinds.
I just wrote up a couple of momentous tickets. Did a write-up for Al Gianfrido's catch, against the famous catch in 47.
Sure. Yeah. Overrated catch, by the way. But that's okay.
Where DiMaggio actually kicked the ground
right
in a very rare display of emotion on the field. I wrote up a Joe Jackson 1910 New Orleans Pelicans ticket, which was actually a fun description to do. Yeah. Full ticket. And so pros and cons. Derek hit the nail on the head. Tickets are historical. They date the item to a specific date and time of baseball and whatever.
All right. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen going forward when I don't know, Shohei Ohtani, breaks the home run record, and there's no ticket there's nothing to show for that.
It is what it is. You have to live with what's available, the past. And, I get conflicting arguments from people, pro tickets, con, etc. The con is baseball cards have images and people love pictures. People love looking at an image.
Yeah.
Portrait, action pose, batting, pitching, whatever. So that will always be the negative, the delta of a ticket. But from an historical perspective, there are hundreds of thousands of cards. They're just images of players. From that perspective, a ticket dates that collectible to an historic moment in time, assuming it's a momentous ticket.
Right. To Tom's point, though, there was an era of time when baseball teams, in particular, football teams too, because I was a Patriots season ticket holder, where they were doing some more artful things with the tickets. They were more than Ticketmaster printouts, and they had some players, and they changed them throughout the year and things like that. There was some of that baseball card-like art to it for a while until they went totally electronic.
Right. And it's sad that we're not going to have those basic tickets anymore. The other interesting caveat here is full unused ticket versus stub. I hear 50-50 conflicting information. I want the stub. It was used. The individual was at the event, at that venue, versus a full ticket that wasn't used. Yet the condition of a full ticket, the fact that it wasn't used, high PS, like Derek said, encapsulated, high grade, and definitely rare on the pop chart. Of course, fulls are rare. So again, it's all collector preference.
Interesting. We're chatting with Derek and Joe. You guys really are. I mean, Goldin Auctions and Heritage, I think you guys really are the two biggest sports auction houses pretty much in the country. Would you guys agree with that? I mean, you got guys like JP, Memory Lane, and others, but I mean, you guys seem to be, at least I know Heritage is huge. Joe, I know that you guys don't have as many employees, but you guys seem to be in the forefront of the auction world. But yet you guys are good friends and you're friendly competitors. How long have you guys known each other?
Too long.
Probably since my grading days at SGC, right, Joe?
Yeah, yeah.
So that goes back. I mean, I started at SGC, and I mean, I don't know when
20
Joe.
years.
Yeah, I mean, I started at 1998 at SGC, which this is ridiculous how old I am. I don't know what happened.
And I really got into this hobby, Derek, in the early 2000s. So 20
Okay.
to 25 years.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
there you
And
go.
Tom, regarding our auction houses being, the top two, I think I think the answer is yes. And not to create ill feeling amongst the other incredible auction houses, we're the two auction houses that are global. And I think that's the that's the winning ticket.
That does have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I mean,
But
And I think too,
Heritage
if,
sells everything,
if
everything,
you, yeah,
and they do
but
it at a world class level.
to Joe's point, also the global part, but also I think if you talk to some of our competitors, and I have, they hear heritage constantly when somebody's shopping. I'm talking to Heritage. They also we hear a lot. I'm talking to Goldin. Those are the names we hear most. And I bet you that's what Joe hears most as well, that he hears, I'm considering Heritage, right? Let me click off this this call.
Nice ring you have, though. Nice ring you have.
Yeah. So basically, I think that speaks volumes. If your competitors are saying, I hear your name all the time, every time, and we hear Joe Golden. Yeah, we hear Fanatics. Fanatics is huge. Mostly modern cards, almost all modern cards, right? So, we can hear that on a modern consignment because I made it a point, even though, we're known for vintage and memorabilia, and we have modern memorabilia, but I saw that the modern cards and who's collecting the modern cards. So we had to make a push into modern cards. A lot of our big clients that were known for vintage started wanting to buy Otani cards and this modern stuff because, and I understand this as a collector, you still want something the guys are playing today. You're watching them all. How could you not go, it's what we're trying to do. I'm going all over the place here, but I try and get the people that are only collecting players today to go back and collect the older players.
So do you guys, both you, Derek, and you, Joe, let's talk about the modern card market. You guys are both vintage guys. Have you guys had to go back into the classroom to really learn the modern card market?
I don't think Joe has, because he has 3 modern card experts there. Am I right there, Joe?
A lot more than 3, Derek.
Okay. On the modern cards.
Yeah.
I know the big 3. I know the big 3, but I know there's other guys that know it. Yes, to answer your point, is that, as kind of the head of the card department here, I definitely had to make sure Jason and Lee and Adam and Dallas and a couple guys in Dallas were not. Some of the guys do know the stuff, but there's a difference between knowing the issues and then knowing the highest end issues and knowing the clients that buy them. Okay. And we definitely you have to have it. You can't just have a few cards. I mean, look, are we known for modern? No, but we have the modern card record with the Jordan Kobe card.
Right.
Okay. We sold the most expensive card. We have
sports record.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, sports record. I'm sorry. Yeah, you guys sold a Pokemon. Okay. But again, that's my TCG guy that would have to debate you on that. I don't know Pokemon. I know nothing. There you go. There's one thing I didn't.
Derek, I'm in the same boat.
I refuse to go back to class 4.
Well, let me ask you, and I'll start with you, Derek, because you just brought up an interesting point about selling to these clients who are in the modern market. And we've seen a shift from vintage customers into the modern market. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You have to evolve for the modern market and the modern clientele, or is it all kind of melding together, or is it moving one way or the other? Is it moving?
I'm seeing some younger guys, which I love, buying Babe Ruth cards and Ty Cobb cards in any grade. That's the other thing. Joe, do you remember when 3s and 1s and 2 were just considered shit cards, and now 1s and 2s and 3s and authentics, or people were thrilled to get a number 144 Gowdy Ruth or a green card? It doesn't matter if it's a 1, it's authentic, it's a 2.
Eric, we had a full standing Gowdy Ruth and an authentic. It looked like it went through a chop shop. Filthy, disgusting, trimmed, cut. $5,000. I almost
love
fell
it.
out of
Yeah.
my
Wow,
chair.
wow.
See, I love this
I
because
couldn't believe it.
so the people that are going back, and that's why it's important too that we're still talking about 52 manos. We're not just talking about these Otani rookies. We are still talking about 52 manos, and these modern guys love 52 manos. And again, 52 manos in any grade, 51 Bowman manos almost now in any grade. It's a big deal, and they go for a lot of money, and in any grade, it's really cool to see it. But yes, Lou, I can't tell you how much excited I get because most people coming in do want the modern cards, see the players they're playing today, whatever sport they're talking about, or now soccer is even with the World Cup and stuff. There's a lot of soccer people. It's great to see people go back.
How is your business, your two businesses, how are they going to have to evolve to deal with this new clientele?
Well, just you got to hire more. With the modern experts, we've got them now. And again, Goldin really has them. They definitely have. We have more, I would say, vintage and memorabilia experts. They really focus strong on modern, but that doesn't mean some of those modern guys don't know vintage cards. Of course, they go to shows and they're gonna, I'm gonna see them up in Toronto. They're gonna be able to talk shop on a 52 Mano or a Bob Gibson rookie. Like they're not idiots. We just also had keep in mind as a grader when I left grading in I think it was 2011 at SGC, I was getting the Brady rookie tickets and Jordan cards and special cards, but there's a whole gap there. Well, now there's a lot of cards we took for granted because they weren't worth that much. And now a lot of those modern inserts from the 90s and 2000s are worth a fortune. And
I want to ask you guys both a question. I get comments all the time about Goldin auctions and about heritage auctions, and there's a perception. So I want you guys to let the public know that it's an incorrect perception.
Yeah, Goldin doesn't want items over $1 million. They just don't. You got to send them to Heritage.
Well, something that's part of what I'm talking about. A lot of collectors, when they hear Goldin auctions, when they hear heritage auctions, they automatically say, I can't afford that stuff. My question to you is, I look at your auctions all the time, and there are many, 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 many items that are not going to break the bank. How do you get the word out to the 80% of the collectors that cannot afford that Michael Jordan card signed? Derek, you first.
I mean, you don't. So there's this. We don't want.
And it's a perception.
Yeah, it is. But we have our weekly sales, but we don't want. We can't sell items for $80 and make money. Okay, we have to have a consignment minimum, and we don't want. Because we take in a massive collection that's true. So I picked up a deal yesterday of vintage signed cards, which will be coming up, a 53 Jackie, a Mike and rookie signed, and maybe the Shibe Park collection. It was great. It just happened yesterday. There's several Jackie Robinson autographs, early Mickey Mantle. So it's a really cool where the guy his brother got them at Shibe Park. Where am I going with this? Maybe I just want to tell Joe T. Well, whatever he's doing, I'm picking up 6-figure collections. He is too, I'm sure. We went to the point. You can't just come up to us with. So my point was, in that $200,000 collection, most of the value are in those top 10 cards.
Right.
Okay. Then I've got to run a group of 53 signed, 53 Bowman signed. I can't just take in 14 signed 53 commons and run them individually. That doesn't happen.
And Joe, the same holds true for you, right?
Yeah, you have to take in the low to get the high.
Yeah.
And like Heritage, we have weekly auctions, 52 a year. We got monthly elite auctions. Those need to be $1,000 or more. My own vintage auction, Tom, there's $200 to $400 cards in that auction.
All right. So if someone walks into you,
the
Joe,
perception is wrong.
Right. That's the
is.
point I'm trying to make. So if someone walks into you with 100 T206 cards graded, I don't know, 2 to 5, 100 of them, bingo.
Yeah.
You're not going to turn that consignment away, correct?
We're thrilled with
Oh.
that consignment. It's 100 graded T206s. It takes more when they're raw. Now I have to do them, or Lee has to do them when they're raw, because you could have trimmed ones, you could have hand cut, altered ones. That becomes more. But the graded stuff, that's a dream. And T206s is a dream. But when you have 67 baseball commons and eights, okay. No, I can't just sell 100 of those. There's got to be stars in it, a partial set.
Derek, you're gonna lot those cards.
We're gonna lot them. But also, it's kind of like a $5,000 minimum. But again, for single graded cards or something, we might drop that. But if you came up with a collection that's going to total over 5,000, but if you just come up with $300 worth of cards, that's not for us. I'm going to send you somewhere else, or $800 worth of here's a few items.
Well, so let me ask you before we take a break. You guys are all friendly competitors, and you just said something, Derek. So you would not hesitate to send them to one of your friendly competitors.
Well, if it's below our consignment minimum, and I realize it's too much work, and we're just not going to make any money based on our overhead, based on, of course I'm going to send them. I'm going to bury Joe T in low level leads, so then I can go get the bigger ones.
There you go.
Right.
I listen.
I want to keep him busy.
And I'll pass those leads right on to
other
Huggins
people.
instead.
Yeah.
All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. Derek's in the house, Joe's in the house. We come back, we're going to continue our discussion, but we're going to have a segment from an All-Stars Cardboard Memories. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
In 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards, and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
For more than 30 years, Robert Edward Auctions has been the industry leader when it comes to helping you realize the most money for your baseball cards and sports memorabilia. In addition to their unparalleled reputation for honesty and integrity, they reach the largest number of bidders in the business and offer lower seller's fees, as well as generous cash advances up front on your valuable material. Contact them today at 908-226-9900. That's 908-226-9900 or at robertedwardauction.com.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back. Joe Tomasulo from Goldin Auctions is in the house with his black hat. Joe, I like that hat. The white hat's kind of ugly, to be honest with you.
You know why I like the white hat, Tom? Because the Goldin shirts are black. So
and Derek,
it's too much. It's too much black.
I'm trying to do the Johnny Cash look. I come on in black all the time.
Yeah. Well, Derek, not for nothing, but I have a Goldin hat that was given to me. I don't have a heritage hat. Do you guys even
have heritage hats? We have heritage shirts, though.
Well, I don't have one of those either.
We're just afraid a bum like you walking around a show with a heritage shirt on. People might come up to you and be like, "You work for Heritage," and we just don't want that.
Okay, it's time for our segment. It's time for a segment from an All-Stars Cardboard Memories, brought to us each week by our friend Paul Borges and PB Collectibles. Go to pbcollectibles.com for that special vintage card at an amazing price. As you all know, this book, we did very well. We're still doing very well with the book, An All-Stars Cardboard Memory. This book was written by Tom and Ellen Zappala with Joe Orlando and Rico Petrocelli. And as many of you know, we've talked about this before. Rico played with or against 55 of the greatest Hall of Famers during the golden era of baseball, everywhere from one of the most overrated players of all time, Mickey Mantle, to guys like Hank Aaron, Roberto Clemente, Brooks Robinson, and the rest. So I've been reading a segment each week. You can get the book by going to tomzappalamedia.com. I believe it's on sale. The book regularly retails for $39, but I think it's pretty cheap. Anyway, this week, Rico's choice was Brooks Robinson. And Rico and I had a blast when we put this book together, because him and I would be sitting in a restaurant, sitting in a bar, having a cocktail, and then I would turn on my phone and say, talk about Brooks Robinson. All right, so this week we are talking about Brooks Robinson. Rico says, I could spend hours talking about Brooks, not only on the field, but off the field. A real gentleman and a class guy. He was friendly and outgoing, and we became really good friends. We would joke with each other and have a few laughs when either he was on third base or I was on third base. Brooks was such a great third baseman. He had that first step. He was so quick, and his anticipation was amazing. Brooks had an uncanny ability to go both ways, and he was a magician at backhandling the ball. He was also outstanding at handling the bunt. Frank Malzone, my mentor, when I made the switch to third, was the only other guy who could field the bunt like Brooks Robinson. I studied Brooks a lot when I switched positions, hoping to pick up some pointers. When we would play the Orioles and I was in the dugout, I would focus on Brooks, closely watching his every defensive move. Did he have that first step because he was anticipating, or was it a God-given ability? Brooks was a solid hitter and had a great stance. He had that sweet swing and could hit the ball to all fields. At the plate, he could go the opposite way. He'd take a fastball low and away and then go the opposite way. He was also a clutch hitter and got some big home runs. Brooks was actually a better hitter than he gets credit for. Everyone talks about his glove, and who can blame them? He saved so many runs for his teams defensively that it was mind-boggling. I have Brooks in the top 2 third basemen of modern times, along with Mike Schmidt. Off the field, we did a few fantasy camps together. There was one fantasy camp that the Red Sox did jointly with the Orioles. Brooks and I talked a lot about the present-day players. He loved Mike Schmidt. When we traveled to Puerto Rico with the All-Stars in the 1960s, his wife Connie and my wife Elsie hit it off, and we all had a great time together, especially after we got to know each other better in Puerto Rico. He would always ask about the family when we were shooting the breeze on third base. I'll never forget when Tom Phoebus, the Orioles pitcher, threw a no-hitter against us, and that was in April of 1968. We were the defending champs, and Phoebus had been the AL Rookie of the Year in 1967, so we were expecting it to be a battle. Brooks robbed me of a hit in that game. I hit a line drive in the eighth between short and third. Brooks extended himself parallel to the ground and made an absolutely spectacular catch to save the no-hitter for Phoebus. Brooks Robinson truly deserved to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. As an MVP, perennial Gold Glover, and All-Star, he was one of the best. I am not ashamed to say that I admired him as an opponent and as a man. Both on the field and off the field, he was a great ambassador to the game. I was proud to know him and his wonderful family. I still wish I had the ball, though, that got by him. And that's another excerpt from an All-Stars cardboard memory. Now, Derek, you have some history with Brooks Robinson, correct?
Yeah, I just went to the Cal Ripken Foundation, their 25th anniversary, sitting at the Brooks Robinson table, and he had just passed. But why am I up there kissing you?
That's load on me.
Canada wanted to use it.
Okay. So, yeah, I took in the Brooks Robinson collection for Heritage, and I want to tell you, I know all the kids. Connie, she's still alive, but I'm close with Brooks Jr. It's actually the third, I guess. I don't think Brooks was actually junior, and his son's really the third. But wonderful family. All the kids are successful. First family ever where we were together, and we say, Connie said, "What do you guys want?" The three boys, the daughter. Okay. And every one of them said, we grew up with it. We saw Dad play. We lived it. Johnny Unitas came over to the house. Frank Robbins came over to the house. I mean, everybody came in, that's how they lived. And they said, we don't need anything. You're going to give it all to charity. Give it all to charity. And that is how they raised their kids. That is how the Robinsons lived. And I think Wounded Warriors, Catholic Charities, and and they've done, lots of donations that we probably don't even know about to local high schools and baseball fields. And, he's got a statue. I drove up with him. He drove like a demon. It was hysterical. He insisted on driving. I was at their house up to, I think it was York, wherever he played. I don't remember the where he started in the minors. And we took a picture outside with a statue they just put up. And there was a guy sitting on a park bench, and he just, started tearing up. He couldn't believe Brooks Robinson, because he went to see the statue, and he couldn't believe it. Brooks was like, come in the photo. And the amount of times that I went out to dinner with them, and I call myself blessed to know them and be out to dinner with them, I would always be the one that would take the camera. People would come over, work up the courage to come say, Mr. Robinson, my son's named after, my daughter, somebody's named after Brooks, right?
Right.
And can we get a picture? I hate to interrupt you. Well, they always hate to interrupt you, but they do it anyway. And I would take the camera. I would go find a pen so they could sign autographs. But it was truly, he was a gentleman, and, he was so well loved by the Orioles.
We love the guy. Joe, what do you have thoughts on him as a third baseman? Where do you rank him?
Well, obviously Schmidt's number one because of his bat. And Schmidt also won like 9 or 10 Gold Gloves. But fielding-wise, he set the benchmark, Tom. I mean,
he was so smooth.
Here's the thing. You couldn't be better defensively than Brooks Robinson. There's only a certain level you can achieve at anything. So Brooks Robinson set the benchmark. Are there third basemen who maybe competed against him defensively? Possibly, yeah. Even Clete Boyer. My dad told me Clete Boyer was a phenomenal third baseman. Greg Nettles in his prime with the Yankees. Great third baseman.
And you didn't win a Gold Glove for 15 years.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
So if you were if you were in the AL, you weren't winning a Gold Glove, period.
Right.
But I probably rank him fourth behind Schmidt, Brett,
How about
Chipper
Boggs?
Jones, and Chipper Jones.
What about Boggs?
Yeah, but Boggs didn't have power. and he was just okay defensively. He had a weak arm. Yeah. I'm gonna put Boggs behind Robinson. I'd rather have Brooks Robinson.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Right. But Chipper Jones and Brett were fine fielding third baseman, but their hitting was so exceptional. I got to put them over Brooks.
Interesting. We're chatting with Derek and Joe. Derek from Heritage Auctions, Joe from Goldin Auctions. Let's talk about. I think I mentioned this last week, Derek, to you. There's some lawsuits kind of floating around out there about the these breakers, and is it gambling? Is it not gambling? I mean, it's pretty prevalent throughout the hobby now. What are your thoughts on that? And Joe, I want to get your thoughts on is it gambling?
I mean, I think when you go buy a wax box for $300 and your odds of pulling out anything good is slim to none, is that gambling? So, people, at least when you buy into a break or the repacks, I think that's part of it, where I think people were talking about breaking, certainly, because it's like a game of chance. You give them money, you get one slot, and you hit this card. But what they're doing now, where they have vending machines in Vegas and other airports and places where you can put in 100, you pick it, $100, $200, $300, $50, and you get an item. And you can either, if you hit, you can sell it back to them. If you fail, you can still sell it back to them. You get back X amount of your money. How do you stop gambling? I mean, maybe it should be regulated, but how would you stop? Yeah, you see the sports betting. It's been around forever.
Well, I want to get Lou involved in this too, because Lou does this for a living and not gamble,
Okay.
But Lou is in the sports book. Joe, what are your thoughts before I ask Lou?
And you know what, Tom? I'm going to pass the baton to Lou.
Well, Lou will be great here.
I'm going to defer to my constitutional Fifth Amendment right. I don't want, politically speaking, I don't want to speak to this. I really don't.
No, that's fine.
I'm going to pass the baton to Lou.
I'm curious. What's this is?
Well, I think you could probably
a breaking subject as gambling in general.
You don't like gambling, Joe?
I don't want to speak to the gambling issue. I don't.
Okay.
Interesting. Very interesting.
That's
Joe.
Weird, Joe. I learned something.
It's not weird.
It is weird. Why you can't have an opinion? You're one of the most opinionated guys I know. You can't have an opinion. You're allowed to have an opinion. There's nothing that Goldin's not going to.
I mean, Joe, it's interesting. You and I've talked about this, Joe.
I walk on eggshells with career suicide issues.
What would be the career suicide of liking gambling or not liking gambling?
It doesn't matter.
Gambling addiction, those types of
things. I can see Joe's point. I mean, I personally, Lou, my gambling background. I probably have not spent in my entire adult life, and this is the God's honest truth, $400 in gambling, wow. Whether it be a lottery ticket. Yeah, and the reason being is because I was brought up in a household, and just as public. I mean, everybody knows this, like at least in this area, and I've talked about it many times in the year, where I grew up in a very Italian family. Let's put it that way. Sicilian family, and
with a bunch of phones.
My up in the third floor of my home, my boyhood home in downtown Lawrence, Massachusetts, there was a third floor, and I can remember one day going up into that third floor and asking my mother, "Why are all these phone jacks in the three rooms 18 inches apart from each other?" And she would say, because there was always activity up there, and she would say, "That's where your father and your uncles are all working. You stay out of there." And that's the way it was. I mean, there was a bookmaking operation, not a minor one, a major book operation going on until they finally moved to another location. And my dad and my uncles, that in my family, they were high roller gamblers. I mean, my dad would walk into my house and throw $50,000 on the table that he had won at the racetrack. And then the next week he would him and my mom, in the early days would be arguing about him not having enough money to buy groceries. And that's the way it grew up. So as a result, myself, my brother, my sister, we never, ever gambled. But I have to say they did salt away some of that money to establish a very successful family business. So
you certainly have to be careful with it, but if it's your own hard-earned money, I don't judge people how they spend their money. It breaks my heart to know. I don't know anybody that's a gambling addict that has lost their home or their car or they couldn't make their rent payment. I can see how it can happen, but thank God I've been blessed that I don't love it, but I'll go to the casino with $500 and say, this is what I'm willing to lose.
Yeah, I mean,
Betting
we have friends like that.
I bet football maybe every other week. It's a game. I always think you're right. Oh, this can't happen, right? And you bet it. And I just bet the Super Bowl just because everybody bets the Super Bowl. It seems in my group. That's why. But I don't.
Louis,
love it.
Lou, you see it every night. Now, I mean, what are your observations of the people that walk into your gambling into the casino? Lou heads up the sports book.
I was going to say, what does Lou do?
Lou,
I'm supervisor for the DraftKings Sportsbook at a casino up here in New Hampshire. And we see this and we're empathetic to all this, especially the people who have problems. And I will tell you, we go through an annual training program every year. All of us who have been there a number of years. It's just an annual training program about problem gambling and identifying it. We just did trespass a gambler, I'm going to say 2 or 3 weeks ago now, because he basically told us he had a problem and kind of put us in a bind in that regard. Trespassing means he can't come back to the casino at this point. And I see people who I suspect, but here's the thing. There are people who are going to have problems with gambling. There are people who have problems with alcohol. There are people who have problems with a lot of things. But it shouldn't prevent people who can do this responsibly from being able to do it. And we talk about people with problem gambling, and it exists. There's no doubt about it. But we don't talk about people, and I see them every day. I got people who are gambling on a daily basis who I don't think necessarily have a problem and not threatening their personal lifestyle and things like that. I don't think you can legislate for the lowest common denominator. By that, I mean the people with the most problems. I don't think it should be made illegal because of this. I have some problems with gambling because I'm a sports fan. And I think that a lot of the gambling markets that are made available, like prop bets and things like that, lead to all kinds of abuses. And I would like to see that cracked down upon, especially in the college levels. And at certain prop bets that can be manipulated rather easily without manipulating the outcome of the game, things like that. The sports breaking problem with gambling, Derek, you hit the key for them on the legislation is when you buy a pack for $300, you're getting something substantial for $300. You're getting the pack. You don't know what the value is, but you know what you're getting. What they're kind of designating, and I think it's a very poor designation. I think it's a very poor separator. They're saying when you buy a slot in a break, you're just getting the slot. You don't know what the value of that is when you're buying it. So they're looking for ways to get involved in this and control it and possibly tax it. I think it's a little bit abusive. I think it's government intrusion in these cases. But I really don't have much to say about it. Governments are going to try to make money, and we're going to run casinos. And again, there are people who can gamble responsibly. There are people who can handle this responsibly. I feel for the people who can't, and we try to be aware of them and try to take care of them if possible. But like many products in our modern marketplace in our everyday lives, there are people who are going to abuse them. People abuse shopping. They abuse credit cards. They abuse
absolutely.
Alcohol.
Yeah, there you go.
Good point. That's a good point.
All
right, listen.
Great example.
We're going to take a quick break. Well said, Lou. And, it's a good topic. We're going to take a quick break. We got more to chat about. We have one more segment with two.
Do you think you have a good topic left in you? Because you usually don't.
Oh, I do.
You hit it out
actually,
that was a good one.
What? When we come back, I'll tell you what I want to chat about.
God.
I want to get your opinions. Two heavyweights, I say, in the collectibles industry. I want to talk about who or what the Mount Rushmore in the collectibles world is. The 4 icons in the history of this collectibles world. Hang in there. We'll be right back. Give it some thought, boys.
Is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet, Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on the tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
You know, Joe, I meant to tell you, when I get back from Florida, you haven't seen the Goldin auction commercial. We only broadcast it once a month because you guys are cheap bastards. But aside from that, we'll put that aside.
A nice way to keep me on the show. Go ahead.
I want to have you record a new spot because the one that we have, Lou, the one that we have was, when that was done? I mean, in our first marriage.
Well, hey, Leland still says Mike Hefner's president. He sold the company like 2 years ago.
I know that.
Well, you're going to fix that one too?
Yes. Well, there's a couple of spots that we have to adjust, Joe. One of which is we'll write the copy. You're going to record the spot, and then we'll add the music and all the nice images and all that good stuff. Are you in? Yes or no?
Sure.
All right. Good. All right. Listen. Speaking of the little guy, Thursday, May 7th. Our good friend Lee Behrens at Sterling Sports Auction, his May 7th auction ends, which is only next Thursday night or whatever, Thursday, May 7th. But listen to some of the really cool stuff. Now, again, Lee is the little guy that caters to the little guy. He's got a 1956 Topps complete set, a 1954 Bowman complete set break. He's got a 35 Gaudy Babe Ruth, a Butterfinger Babe Ruth, a Quaker Oats Babe Ruth, and an American Association Babe Ruth. He's got some T206s, a Ty Cobb with the red portrait, a Cy Young with an old mill back, a Vic Willis portrait with a Hindu back. He's got some commons with broadleaf, Carolina Brights, and Hindu brown and red backs, and Cycle and American Beauty backs. He's got a 54 Bowman mantle, a Topps 57 with a PSA 6, a 58 with a PSA 6, and a 64 with a PSA 6. And then he's got some individual 1954 Bowman Ted Williams, 48 Leaf Joe DiMaggio's, 66 Venezuelan Topps Roberto Clemente, and a Jimmy Brown and Bill Russell rookie card. So if you have any questions, just go to sterlingsportsauctions.com. Lee's a great guy. He's been a big loyal sponsor to the show. And again, he's a one-man operation, actually, he and his wife. All right, I'm going to ask the question. This hobby, the Mount Rushmore of this hobby, the four individuals that you guys think really have impacted the hobby over the years. Joseph, let's start with you.
Now, Tom, I was a little confused by the question. Are you talking about the top collectibles?
No.
The
top four people that have had over the years an impact on this hobby. An impact.
Okay. I'm going to go with Josh Leland. And I have
Good
to
choice.
say Josh because, like George Washington, he started it all.
Good choice.
I have to go Bill Mastro because he took it to another level.
Good choice.
And he took it to the level that Derek and I are fortunate enough to work for companies.
That's Joe. So far, you're 2 for 2.
Right. I have to put Joe Orlando in there. Because what Joe did with PSA really changed the concept of how to collect items.
Interesting.
And how could I not put in you gotta put Alan Rosen.
Right. He's on my list.
Yeah, you gotta
100%. Yeah.
I had some. You know, it's funny, guys. I had a bad experience. Had some good experiences with Alan, but then I had a real bad one where he rolled a Ruth Garrett ball back at me and told me to get the hell lost.
Yeah,
and you know what I wanted to do with that baseball.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised.
And Tom, I threw upper 80s. I could have created some severe damage. So anyway,
Derek, I want to get yours now, Derek. Good choices. I 3 of your choices I have, except for one. I have someone else, but I want to get your opinion on that. Derek, who are your 4 heavyweights?
100% Josh Evans. 100% Bill Mastro. 100% Al Rosen. And then when you're looking for a 4th, David Hall came before Joe Orlando, and he started the set registry.
That's a good choice. That's a good
so
choice.
I can't. Joe Orlando doesn't exist without David. I mean, Joe's going to be successful at anything he does, but there's no grading without David Hall. He started PCGS.
That's a good choice.
He started.
That's a very good choice.
Yep. But
PCGS.
Yes, PCGS. So because of the grading, and Joe was Joe at PSA was a better PSA. Let's just call it like we see it. I mean, he was. It's an expansion beyond comprehension where they're at now. But Joe kept everything under control. And started ticket grading and back grading and all these different grading. So he's obviously very important. But I'd say David Hall. But then I'd say on that, your last spot there between David Hall and Larry Fritsch was a pioneer.
Yes.
Of getting in a small little place in Wisconsin, doing those mail order catalogs in the back of magazines. When I was a kid, you see the Larry Fritsch ad selling, the 70s, and he'd have high number runs. If it would be football, it would be baseball, it would be this, that, and the other thing. You could go get your set. He was one of those pioneers that did it, and then generationally goes down to his son, then passed away. Now it's his grandson running the business. So, but there's, and I'm sure there's other people you can argue.
Those are all, something. Every one of those choices is good. There's one guy that I kind of researched, and again, my fourth guy, I don't have a fourth because you've got Joe, you've got David, you've got Larry.
Well, you have to have a fourth.
What about Lou Lipset?
Look, he's brilliant in that 19th century. But then you're going to say you got to say Jefferson Burdick.
And that was the other guy, Jeff Burdick.
But he comes before Lou Lipset. He's the one that organized everything. So he is actually on some people's.
And now you're getting into collectors.
Yeah, now you're getting into collectors.
Right.
Burdick would have impacted.
But I know Joe. Jeffrey Burdick was a collector, but he had a tremendous impact on the hobby.
No, I was talking about Lipset.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
Now I'm going to throw. Because he's not a pioneer, but Derek is not going to argue with me on this because we've spoken about this, and this is not nepotism. The boss changed the concept of staggering price tags for collectibles. Ken Goldin. You look at a Fanatics, which kind of piggybacked off what Ken did or whatever, and I have a big collection myself. Derek has a collection. And I think we all owe some level or debt of gratitude to Ken because he's helped all our collections with what he's done.
Well, you know what he did, Joe? Ken has taken
his promotional effort.
Yeah, he's taken he kind of took the hobby to a different level with the way he markets. I mean, between the King of Collectibles on Netflix and the stuff that he has done with his marketing, he's almost,
it helps us all.
He's almost like an ultra-modern version of Alan Rosen, where he's not a collector himself, but he's a P.T. Barnum, and I'm saying that as a compliment. You know what I mean? A P.T. Barnum, a marketing guy.
You can still be. Yeah, I mean, you can still be a carnival barker, and there's no question he does that. And there's been times, but at the same time, he touts things that he thinks should be worth $15 million, and maybe they should be, and they go for half that. Or there's times where he touts something and it does go for what it does, like at the Declaration of Independence. That's an amazing item. Ken will sell. The one thing Ken does is he will sell an item. You can turn a camera on, and he instantly makes that the best item in the world. Makes you feel like your item. And so if you're the consignor of that item, he makes you feel like $1 million. Also, the main thing I would say there with Ken is it's got the Netflix show. He got that show. It went
huge.
I don't know how many people watched it, but obviously millions.
Well, it got renewed for a third season, Joe, correct?
Yeah, and Derek, I'll tell you, without mentioning names, people on the Ken's staff, on Ken's staff, I haven't been on the show, but the 3-4 guys I do shows with from time to time, I can't tell you how many potential consigners or consigners.
For sure, absolutely.
Come up to the table. They want a picture.
I'm friends
They
with
want a
those
picture
guys.
with Dave or Frank. Or
People who ask for an autograph or a photo.
It goes a long way. It does.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have him up on the Mount Rushmore. But like I said, I think we universally agreed on 3.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
there's no doubt. And you know, David Hall is really
probably should be, honestly,
consideration
because
no
grading is so important, and he's the one that started it.
Yep.
Okay, and
it's our hobby.
No question.
All right, so now I'm going to throw one more out at you guys, and if you can't mention a name, I'm saying of the names you can mention. Let's put it that way. Who's the single Mount Rushmore, top of Mount Rushmore collector of all time? Collector.
Oh boy, I mean,
one.
We
can't do 4.
I do 4.
Well, Joe's going to try and kiss as many consigners' heinies as possible.
No, he's a guy. Some of them may be retired. Some of them may be dead.
Yeah, I mean,
this is just opinion.
Yes,
so let me clarify.
No, of course, it's
the
opinion.
express written whatever. How do you say that, Lou?
Just
so Marshall.
Opinions are not of heritage.
Let's just throw out Marshall Fogel. He's
right. Obviously, Marshall Fogel is one of the most famous high-end collectors. He came in with his best friend Bill Mastro, and we're buying the high-end items early on. Marshall Fogel has to be on the list. 100%.
What about Scott Ireland?
He's
right there, but I'm going to put someone over Scott Ireland. Quiet and the most down-to-earth, nicest guy on the planet.
Wait, can I guess?
Richard Massa.
Richard Massa, yeah, I mean, it's no question.
I don't know him. I know who he is.
Because you should know him.
Because he's been buying cards and putting together every card set imaginable.
Right. I'm going to piss Richard off
70s.
If he watches this show. The only issue I have with Rich, he inexplicably still thinks Man of War was better than Secretariat. And
no shot.
You know what?
No shot. I'm going to throw a name out. And based on all of the extensive research that Ellen and I have both done over the last 6 months on this guy, and this guy really, some people are going to disagree with me, but this guy really has managed to keep the two things separate. Nat Turner's collection is off the charts. Nat Turner's personal.
I haven't seen it, so if you've seen it,
it's beyond mind-boggling.
Is it? I believe it. I mean, obviously, he's.
I'm sure it is. What about Kendrick?
Oh, you have
Kendrick's. Kendrick's, he's got a great collection. There's no doubt. His Diamondbacks collection is probably the single greatest collection, but Nat's collection is just like incomprehensible. Just incomprehensible. I'm talking not thousands, millions of cards.
Vintage and modern, both. Right,
Vintage and modern.
Yeah, that's important. I do
54 unopened Topps boxes. Just
one of those. Yes, I know where he got it from. Yeah, no, he's got a ton of the wax boxes, but he does vintage, and that's cool.
It's mostly modern, but it's just absolutely incredible. I mean,
you know what, Tom? I'm going to add one more name. Derek, refresh my memory. Brain fog. Who's the part owner of the Seattle Mariners?
I mean, I don't know if he would want his name mentioned, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to go into client like stuff like that.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But yeah,
no, but it's not about that. It's just about mentioning.
I know, but you're 100% correct. He is absolutely an incredible, true collector. 100%.
Loves the stuff.
Louis, before we talk about Finkelmeyer, one guy that has, I don't even know if you guys know him. I think you may, Derek, that has stayed under the radar for all these years, but he's had a hell of a collection. He also owned at one time the Gretzky McNall Wagner, and that's Brian Siegel. I don't know if you guys even know who Brian Siegel is.
I do. I know. Yeah, I just know he's a big collector.
Brian's got an amazing collection. He lives in Southern Cal. He's up there now in age, But I mean, his collection is spectacular. Anyway, Lou,
Tom, I got one more for you.
Go ahead.
One more. Anglis has one of the most amazing.
Richard Anglis has a great
game used collection.
He's got a great
Yankees
bat collection.
Is an insane Yankee.
Yeah,
He's the best Yankees collection in the world. Not even close.
A lot of his stuff
You can
is
see
in
it at the
Yankee
Yankees
Stadium at the
Museum.
museum. Yeah, a lot of his stuff. We talk about Richard quite a bit in the book. He pops up all over these places. You talk to John Toby about it, Toby about a bat, boom. It all goes back to Richard Anglis. You talk to Joe Orlando about a bat. It all goes back to Richard Anglis. Same thing with Scott Island.
Right.
It's just crazy.
And Stephen Wong's up there too. Stephen Wong has a remarkable.
You could do a book just on, and again, you have that part as part of your book, which is great. But it's important, there's a lot of stuff out there a lot of people don't know.
In this book, this is the good part about this project that we're doing is we've had the opportunity and the honor of speaking to a lot of these people that have just opened up their hearts and their doors to us to talk about their collections, whether it be a find or epic treasure or whatever. Hey, Louis, what about our good friends? By the way, you need insurance for all of this. Go ahead, Lou.
The esteemed Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency has been insuring collectibles since the early 80s. The late Tom Finkelmeyer wrote the original sports memorabilia insurance policy when no one else in the industry was insuring sports collectibles. A lifelong collector of cards, Tom Sr. instilled the love of collecting in Tom Jr., the current president of Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency. Tom Finkelmeyer Jr., with 3 decades of insurance experience, has paired that expertise with 50 years of collecting and with a litany of professional designations, including counseling and risk management. Tom covers every aspect of your collectibles insurance needs. Unlike some of the companies that sell collectibles insurance directly to the consumer online, Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency is the only independent retail agent who specializes in sports memorabilia and collectibles nationwide. Representing all major companies that sell collectibles insurance, there's no agent that insures more collectors, dealers, appraisers, auctioneers, or events in the collectibles hobby than Finkelmeyer Insurance. Our good friend and hobby legend John Tobby of JT Sports has been using Finkelmeyer Insurance for over 20 years. For more information, go to thefia.com, thefia.com. That's Finkelmeyer Insurance, where collecting is our passion.
Guys, what can I say? You guys, the last couple of weeks, you guys have both stepped up to the plate. I greatly appreciate it.
You came up with a couple good topics here. I loved it.
I actually have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
For you and Ellen. Has this book on greatest finds, collections, has this been your, finest endeavor with your book?
Hands down, Joe. Ellen and I, we've talked about this ad nauseum. For us personally, of all the books that we've written, and this is our 8th book from this series and last, this book by far has been the most fun and the most interesting. When you write about the T206 collection or the Crackerjack collection, you're limited. You're kind of limited as to what you're writing about. You're writing about the player, you're writing about the card and all of that. We've had this project, man, it's been we're all over the place. We started with all of these finds, and we wanted to limit it to about 100 of them, and not just finds, epic treasures. And then what happens is one pops up, a new one pops up that we've already written a narrative about, but we want to limit it. So it's so good that we have to take out one of the ones we've already written about.
Right.
That's what's been happening. It's just been, just one thing after another, and it's been so much fun. It really has.
Can you give your viewers a glimpse as to its targeted release date?
Yeah, right now, Joe, we're looking at the 2027 National. So it's not for another year and it's going to
make sure I get a free copy.
Well, we're talking to PSA. PSA's been a big part of this project, as has our good friend Joe Drellick and the guys at the National. So we're kind of coordinating with both of those entities about the release of the book. We're still working on it. We've got a long ways to go, but it's just been a blast writing the backstories of all of these kind of really fun, The T206 Wagner. I'm just going to give you a little tease. Just a little tease.
Time out. I got to catch a flight.
All right, real quickly. No, you wait 30 more seconds. Real quickly.
30 seconds, Derek.
The T206, the T206 Wagner, McNall,
this isn't
Wagner.
Yeah,
we're almost there where we can connect the dots, and we can almost go back to exactly where the card came from
a tree. Because it's card, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
great.
we're pretty close. Derek, thank you so much. Have a safe flight to Toronto. Joe, thanks so much. Louis, as always, great job. And to our viewers and listeners, thanks so much for all your support. And with that being said, happy collecting.
Thank
you. See you.